Well, happy Sunday morning. As you see behind the wrapped bales, we've started a long line of dry. So the field with the 26 bales, which was actually 27. My count was off, but we'll always take an extra bale. I started noticing a drip while we were loading, a pretty substantial drip. So when I got this loader, I blew a hose on it. Oh, I don't know, probably the first winter. So be that one right there. So those are all the same in that weird Parker compression fitting deal. So dripping off of this hose right here. Well, it's not the hose, and it's not the fitting. I got a couple of spare hoses when I ordered that one, just to make sure I had some, because they're a little odd and nobody around here seemed to be able to build me one. So in the investigation of why I have a drip, we discovered that somebody's welded on that end cap before. I'm sure banging and bashing over the years on that end cap, it can crack. Top is still factory weld, but somebody's welded the bottom of it. Looks like wire feed. So given what we're trying to do here, that's what we're going to try to do too. We got to get this, I'll stick it right by the door, and we'll probably block the loader up a little bit so we got some room and get that apart and down and drained, and tip it uphill and see if we can dry it out, clean it up, where we can get a weld that'll hold on it. If not, well, then there's other options, but it wouldn't be the first less than ideal hydraulic repair I've done on a cylinder, so we'll see what we can do about that. There's most of the wet on this side is from that leak. This cylinder's been weepy for years, never really gets any worse than that. If I ever went through this loader, and really doesn't need any, it doesn't have cracks or anything busted up on it. It could use the couple of hose clamps and, you know, get the routing, straighten a few things up, and maybe paint it. But it always has to be on, because I'm always feeding cows all winter, and in the summer you got 10,000 uses for it. So it's always fix as needed. So I made this clip once already and got talking way too long, so I'm gonna stop here and bring you back when we decide how we're gonna approach this and take a look at it. So as you can see, somebody's been at this before. The leak is right there. So problem is, we got to hook it back up to try it, but we got it all drained out. I'm gonna hit that area with a grinder and see what I come upon, and they're gonna try to just give me some clean metal. I don't know, I might have to throw a preheat at it, cook that oil out of there. One drop of oil, there's your pinhole. Well, I preheated her a bit. Made sure all my oil was out and preheated her a bit. The leak was right here. So I came down it and then chipped it and ground it again, and came with another pass. I don't see really much for pinholes and pock marks. It looks pretty clean right there. Unless it's going to find another way out, which they do. But it ain't that big a deal to hook and unhook this thing, so all I can do is hook it up and try it. Well, we appear to have much dryness. We got it on the first try. We've run her up and down and bottomed it out and worked it some, and seemed to be good. However, during that bouncing around and banging and whatever else, oh, and we put this hose on here, I decided that my mount seemed to be a bit on the loose side, which is not uncommon at all. I've got it on these 2 bolts. That is completely inadequate. I have 100 times gone to thought about fixing that. Do you think I've had this bolt in and out of here a couple of times before? So that's what happens. They break. Couple things could be done. I thought about having a block made that would catch on here. That isn't a whole ton, but it would help. Really, I should go to the upper mounts and come down with it and get more. The holes that these go in are egging out too, plus they were oversized to begin with. That's a whole better show right there. Plastic plug's never been out. They've had, something was on there briefly, I would say. Maybe they had carrying weights on there, but was half of mine to start switching this over, but we're in standard haymaking here, so yeah, this has to be spaced off of here because you hit here. Where do you suppose that ding came from? But yeah, I should have some bolts. I always keep some of these. When I get short of them, I go get more. They're on the ground. But we should have fixed our hydraulic problem, and now we'll just fix this little problem.